I've got 3 triple distilled blended Irish whiskeys. I want to blind taste test them, mainly because I want to know if I'm missing out by only having Jameson. I want to know if Jameson actually deserves to be the most well-known and highest selling Irish whiskey. And maybe these light blended Irish whiskeys might be a good choice to sip on if you're just getting into whiskey. Sometimes I just like browsing random liquors on online liquor retailers, and that's how I came across this Roe Co blended Irish whiskey. It popped up and I thought it's interesting because all I have is Jameson, and I decided to buy it. But since I only have Jameson, I wanted something else so I could have at least a 3-way blind. So I sorted through the Total Wine online site and sorted by the highest amount of reviews. And for Irish whiskey, it was this, Kilbrin. Now this is one of their Spirits Direct, and it's a sourced whiskey. Now these are all blended Irish whiskeys. There's 4 types of Irish whiskeys, which is a little different than other whiskeys. You've got your single malt Irish whiskeys, which is going to be 100% malted barley. Single means it's from a single distillery, and those are always from pot stills. The second type is single pot still Irish whiskey, which is similar to the first, but it's not going to be 100% malted barley. The third type is grain Irish whiskey, which is usually from wheat or corn. That's going to be a more clean, neutral taste. And the last, most cheap usually, version is blended Irish whiskey, which will have more than one type blended together. And these are all blended Irish whiskeys. If you want to sip, you probably want to go with a more expensive single malt. These are for shooting or mixing, most likely. Now, most Irish whiskeys died out in like the 70s and the 80s, but Jameson survived because it was bought out. Since it was one of the only ones remaining, that is how it became so popular. Irish whiskey actually used to be the most popular liquor in the world back in the late 1700s, 1800s. It was actually preferred over Scotch. It wasn't until the early 1900s when it died out from Prohibition and Scotch getting better. Now this Roe Co, I don't know if you would say Roe Company. This was actually one of the top 5 biggest distilleries back in the 1700s. It closed down in 1926, and they restarted it up by one of the big megacorps. It is also a triple distilled blended Irish whiskey, malt and grain. Same thing with this Kilbrin. Don't know if I'm saying that right, Kilbrin. Apparently Kilbrin is a place in Ireland, but there's no distillery there, they just took the name. But this is also triple distilled mix, a blended mix of grain and malt. Of course, it's approved by someone named O'Reilly. So something I learned about the Irish, and if you're Irish, correct me if I'm wrong, when they go to the pub, they'll get what's called a short and a pint. And you know what the pint is, but the short is just a small pour of Irish whiskey in a glass. And Americans, you know, you'll get a shot and you chase it with some beer, but the Irish will like to sip on their whiskey while they drink their pint. Now I'll randomize this with a Lazy Susan while I'm looking away. I've got these cards so I know which one's which. And I used the black Glencairns because I don't know if they're the same color when they're in these green bottles. I can't tell what color they are, so as far as I could tell, this one might be darker than all the rest. Like I said, I don't think many people sip on these blended Irish whiskeys. They're meant to be mixers, so I'm not expecting much here. I expect it to be really light. Hopefully it's not harsh. Smells like a very harsh, young whiskey. Now, I don't know how old any of these are. I don't think they let you know. Going off the smell of this one, it's very young. It actually has a lot more flavor than I thought it was going to. It's definitely not light and crisp. It's pretty harsh. There's not much sweetness or influence from aging in a barrel. It's not a very pleasant sip, I'll say that. I'm hoping for something better here. That was a pretty big disappointment. This has less of a harsh ethanol smell. This one has more of a barley smell to it, like a hint of beer, and less of a marker ethanol. Okay, it's much different. This one is what I was expecting from Irish whiskey. It's light. It's a lot more smooth than what that last one was. I could taste some grains, much less bitter, but not complex at all, and no lingering flavor. The last one, it's very light scent. It's kind of pleasant, but there's nothing special in there at all. It's very slight sweetness. I don't smell any barley on this one. This has got to be the lightest of the three. It's not harsh, and it's pretty light flavor, but it's definitely not enjoyable to sip. I think that answers my question. If you're not into sipping whiskey and you want to try something light, these are lighter, but even though the flavor's lighter, it's not a more enjoyable sipping experience. Maybe if you were into shooting whiskey, it probably makes an easier shot. Except for this one, this first one. I think this first one was pretty harsh. I really hope this first one is not the Jameson, because that would be embarrassing for Jameson. It really has a nice smell though. It's definitely the sweetest smell. I think it might have the most age on it. This one actually smells the best. I'm gonna give it another fair shot at the taste. There's something in there. It tastes cheaply distilled. There is a lingering spice to it. It's not that the flavor is bad, it just tastes almost poisonous. I really don't like it. This just has that hint of barley on the scent and the flavor, but it's so light. I think these two are almost indistinguishable. This one just has a slight barley flavor to it. I don't know if that's a good thing for most people, but it's at least something interesting in there. So since these aren't the greatest things to be sipping on, might as well make them into a drink. Irish whiskey is not known for being used in cocktails very often. A lot of the cocktails call for vermouth, and they're just variations on other whiskey cocktails, Manhattans, other things like that. I'm going to let RNGesus decide my cocktail. This is something I do sometimes, and I'd say probably 80% of the time it works out. So I've got my ratings for all these, and I will let you know here just in a second what they were. I'm going to go with this Roe Co. I don't know how good it was, because I don't know which one it was. I'm going to use Roe Co. And then RNGesus picked out two random liqueurs for me. This one is clear. Still no clue what it is. And this one is slightly brown. No idea what it is. Now all I need is a sour. So I'm going to use lemon juice. Lemon and whiskey go together. Lemon. Here's the formula. 1.5 ounce liquor, 3/4 ounce liqueur, 3/4 ounce liqueur, and 1 ounce sour lemon juice. Obviously, if you knew what your liqueurs were, you could adjust to the sweetness, but that's usually a good baseline. 1.5 ounces of Roe Co. number 7894. I'll figure out what that is after. I'm not gonna smell it because I want it to be a surprise. And I think if I smelled it, I would likely know what it is. So I'm gonna get 3/4 ounce of this. I hope RNGesus is in a good mood today. 3/4 ounce of 6067. There's gonna be no simple syrup here because hopefully the liqueurs are sweet enough to balance it out. 1 ounce of lemon juice. Now I'm just gonna put in some clear ice in the shaker because I'm gonna dirty pour it. Gonna open dirty pour it into the glass. That's a double old-fashioned glass. Now I get to see if I can figure out what those liqueurs are. Is that chocolate? Kind of tastes like a Tootsie Roll. It's clear. Do I have a clear chocolate? Creme de cacao, maybe? Maybe a white creme de cacao. It's really refreshing. It's an odd flavor combo with the lemon and the chocolate. I don't know what this other one is, if I could taste anything. Slightly bitter. See, and I don't really taste the whiskey. Maybe that slight bitterness is the whiskey. I mean, I'm not even mad about this drink. It's really balanced. Really confused about what that second liqueur is. Could it be a amaretto? Peach, maybe? It's got to be something like that, like a peach or nut. I'm going to guess it's amaretto and a white creme de cacao. I'd say it's good. It's just a little weird. Chocolate and lemon are kind of a weird combo. Let's find out what this is. So this is not creme de cacao. This is Cointreau. I guess maybe that's why I don't taste it. Maybe it's being covered up by the lemon, like lemon and orange maybe mixed together. There's definitely chocolate in there. Maybe this is a brown creme de cacao. It is Frangelico. Hazelnut. Okay, so I was getting a little nut in there. Why do these taste like chocolate? That's crazy that it tastes like chocolate to me. Yeah, that's definitely hazelnut. It has a slight chocolate-ish smell to it. And it's just a orange, Cointreau. But that's fun. Definitely not mad about that drink. It is completely gone already. You can't really go wrong with that formula to make a drink. You should try it sometime with whatever liqueurs you got. Let's find out what was the best and what was the worst of these Irish whiskeys. Last place, I gave a score of 29 out of 100. It is the Roe Co. This definitely had the most flavor of the three. The problem is it was really hard to swallow with the harshness of the alcohol. It's not that it was hot, it just tasted really bad, like they got some bad cuts in there. And this cost $37. It's definitely not worth $37 to me. For sipping, neat. Definitely in this cocktail, it was pretty good. It's got these horrible rough edges on it that make you want to gag. It's one of those kind of liquors. You got to mix it with something. And then, do you really want to spend $38 mixing it? This gets an F- for sipping and mixing value. Second place, gave a score of 43, was the Jameson. This was what I expect from a typical triple distilled blended Irish whiskey. It was very light flavor, pretty smooth, but not for sipping. There's nothing interesting about it. It's light, not really enjoyable to sip. And these ratings I'm giving based on drinking them neat. It cost me $23, so it's cheaper, but for sipping value, that gives them an F+. Mixing value is a D+. Which leaves us first place. I gave a score of 46. Is this Kilbrin Irish whiskey? This was very similar to the Jameson. I thought it's slightly better because it had a little more interesting flavor. Slightly barley. I don't know, maybe some people don't like that, being able to taste the little bit of grain in there. But it was still smooth, just a little more interesting, a little more nice to sip. It only cost $18. That gives a sipping value of D+, and a mixing value of C+. If you liked the video, give me a like, and you want to see more, think about subscribing, and I'll see you next time.